blue and white grapes.
Hey everybody, we are here today to talk about our next book for our book club. And we have a new member. Her name is Davida, and she's going to be joining us from here on out. She is a good friend of mine, and she loves to read, so this is going to be perfect.
Yes.
So I'm very, very excited. So we are reading today Gabrielle Union.
Gabrielle.
Okay, there you go. Gabrielle Union, and the idea is like, we might be able to do this in 2 weeks, but if we start talking, we'll do this for 3 weeks. Now remember that we're going to come to you every Wednesday. We're not doing Fridays anymore. And then we'll just take it from there. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to read a part in here. I want to read. Mom, you want to read it?
Sure. I dedicated this book to those who have been humiliated and wanted to hide away forever. To those who have been broken and super glue wasn't enough to help. To those who have felt frozen in fear and shame. To those who have kept smiling as their throats were closing up. To those who thought they had all the answers but realized they were sorely ignorant. I see you, I got you. And to my parents, who I never understood until I became an adult who followed her heart. I'm sorry and I love you. I get it now.
Yeah, so I like it that, she respects both her parents, but when she said her heart, that was because her mom was like an artsy person, and she was always trying to cultivate them into the arts and things like that.
She wanted to take them to the ballet. She wanted them to have an overall experience of enjoying life and experiencing different things. That's what I
send them to a white school so they get better education.
No, that was not her mom. That was her dad.
Oh yeah.
Her mom that was not nothing that her mom ever wanted.
Yeah, her dad.
Her dad was a Mr. What is that called when you want to do like the next person? Keep competing with the Joneses?
Keep up with the Joneses.
Something like that. So that was what her father was like, according to this book, but we don't really know. I mean, this is our interpretation. Yes. Who knows what it's meant to be? And that's why we do this, so that you can chime in and tell us what you felt like it was meant to be.
Exactly.
So with the introduction, I just want to say that this book, it's about little stories about her life. And so first of all, we do cover a lot of books here that we think are trendy, that we feel like young people will read, that we feel like will touch your heart, people that you can be inspired by. Yes. Who couldn't be inspired by her?
Exactly.
She went through some stuff, and she shared the deepest secrets with us in this book. And I just think she was, if nothing else, she was so honest. And it says that in here too.
It was really raw. When I first read the introduction, I did not think that this was the Gabrielle Union that I see on Being Mary Jane. It just really let me get a glimpse of who she really is and stuff.
And we thank her for that.
Yes, and I really she came out, she was brutally honest, you didn't know I cussed.
Yes.
She's like, that's what good publicists are for and stuff, but she really is amazing. She's truthful, and everything she says, I can actually feel it. I appreciate her writing this book because it's really made me get to know her a little better.
Yeah, and I felt like that too. I loved and respect her before, but this really made me feel like I know her on some personal level. We are just sitting around here having a glass of wine, having a conversation. So I feel like it's so appropriate for the title. So the only thing I want to read are the two quotes from other authors. If you want to do it, Davida. The very time. Okay, yeah. So why don't you read those? Just because I feel like she wants people to read this too.
The very time I thought I was lost, my dungeon shook and my chains fell off.
So I feel like she's saying, when you feel like you're at your worst, don't give up, because it will get better.
You have to persevere. It's going to be a lot of hurdles to overcome, but she said, she went through a whole lot. You guys would be surprised at how much stuff she went through and still came out to be this amazing woman.
So when you first saw the book, didn't you first kind of think this is going to be a book about somebody that has it all going on?
Yeah.
That never has had a flaw in their life. And then when you started to read it, I'm like, she's a little bit like everybody.
I felt like that before. Yeah. You can really relate to it. So let's
read that one too.
Stay afraid.
At the end of that, she said, "Stay afraid, but do it anyway."
Yes.
It's a lot of people that get hindered by their weaknesses, and they don't even want to get out there and try to do anything simply because of the fear in it. But you'll never get anywhere without overcoming your fears. So I felt that a lot, and I thought to highlight that because it really
Yes.
stuck out to me.
And even if you fall down, you learn from it, and you'll be
Yes.
stronger
Yes.
for the next time you attempt, you try it.
Yeah, and if my mother-in-law was here, so of course this is my biological mom, I love her. You guys know her already. This is one of my best friends. My sister. So if Mildred was here, what does she always say? Nothing beats a try. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. Just keep trying.
Keep trying.
Just keep trying. Like, if this book says anything, I feel like it really resonates with that too. Like, just keep trying, because when you read some of her stories, you're like, wow.
I wouldn't have never thought
Yeah.
things like that happened to her.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have.
So the first chapter is about how they lived in a certain place that was like very rich in African American culture. Everybody around them knew everybody. What they say, like if you walk down the street, someone would recognize you by your facial
By the
features
face. And you
and know
guys
what family
know
you
that
belong to.
around here.
Exactly.
You can notice a love it out from anybody
Yep.
just by their facial features. You're like, you're a love it. You're some kin to the love it. So you know you can relate to that. And it's like she grew up in a town kind of like Alden, where everybody knows everyone. If you did anything bad or anything, they knew to tell your grandma on you and everything else. So it was like a little hometown thing that she grew up in. And then she was moved to Pleasanton.
Yeah, and I think the name is so deceiving, because what people don't realize is that was what her mom never wanted for her kids, because it was, now you're taken away from all the culture, you know, everybody that you're familiar with, and you're put into just a white community.
Yes.
She wanted to move to Oakland.
Yes.
She left San Francisco for the art and all that, and Oakland was close enough, but Oakland was more black. So she kind of thought they feel more comfortable instead of being the oddball in the white community,
Yeah.
Yes.
which they ended up being there.
Anyway, yes, they were.
But her dad had a friend at work who said, this is the place to be. This is where you live when you're trying to get ahead in the world. And he, of course, was like, he wasn't like, I want to say he was kind of like keeping up with the Joneses, but he was really just like, in his heart, I think he was trying to do the best for his family.
I think he was.
I don't know what happened at the end there, but and at the end it's all love too. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't want to give a chapter away till we get there.
Not to get too far.
But it's like he forgot some part of what the family needed though when he moved them there. Don't you feel like that?
Yeah, I don't think that he played as vital a role as in getting them acclimated with their new surroundings as he could have. You know, he just put them out there. You know, I got this good job. You guys go to school, get your education and everything. I think he was more into the sports. They kind of bonded, you know, with the sports aspect of it, because you might not know, but Gabrielle was playing basketball and everything, and I wouldn't have never known
Yeah,
that.
she was very athletic.
Yes.
She was her father's child. She was athletic, she was popular, and she had great grades. But that was because
And every time she brings an athlete home, she's okay.
Yeah,
her-
she brought
that
an
was-
athlete home, yes.
but that was her way of being accepted in a community where she was invisible, or she was trying to be invisible because she wanted to fit in so hard. She wanted to be accepted for what they were looking for in people instead of being accepted for who she was as a person. But
Yes.
that's what all young people do. Like, I am not dissing her. I feel like we all do that at an early age in our life,
Yes, we
probably into 25 years of age, don't you think?
We always try to be
Yeah.
something that is so-called the norm. You know, we want to be like everybody
cool.
else. Oh, they have the Jordans. We want to wear the clothes. We want to have the hairstyles. And she went through all of that, and just to find herself, you know, and she was the only black one at the white school, so she was kind of singled out as the black girl out of the group and stuff, and it made her feel that she needed to do so much more to be accepted. Instead of getting the good grades and being athletic and everything, that wasn't enough. She didn't feel like she overall did anything to be accepted into this group of people that she was around.
But I will say
Make
this.
fun of her own heritage or whatever.
With
When
that
they tell
girl.
her, you know, go and do buckwheat, so she goes and does
Yeah,
buckwheat.
she
But
doesn't
it's
like
like
that.
that all stopped after a while. After she went a couple times back home to was it Omaha?
Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, so she went. So that's where her hometown is from, the original place where her family's from. She spent some summers there. I don't know if that was her mom's doing. I kind of really feel like it was. I don't know. It doesn't say that in the book.
They don't really
Yeah.
tell, but she did visit there
Like,
some.
was that her
change
dad's
persona.
mom that she would go?
I think it's her aunt, so it could be her dad's mom. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the thing. This is a very funny part in the book. So she's used to this white culture. There's arrangement for her every summer to go back home to be with her family and relatives and these type of things that many people do. You know what I mean? When they move away from home. And then her cousin, who has been kind of keeping in touch with her, has made a couple requests for her, a tape, specifically a tape, and this girl did not come through, but we're gonna get into that.
She wanted some rap music from there, and she brought Baby Cyrus there. I know all of the songs because I'm a
Jesus, your
music
cousin is
connoisseur.
white.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Like, soon as she your cousin is white. But yeah,
Over you.
I experienced that moving from Ohio to here. It was just the difference in talking. You're so proper and this and that. So that does play a big factor in it. But she had to adapt. She would turn into her black girl when she went to Omaha, and then try to be more white when she went back to Pleasanton. It was just
But I think with every trip, she regained some of her identity. Don't you think?
I think so.
I think
too.
it took a little bit for her to find because it's finding your courage. Don't you think? Like and acknowledging that you need to be accepted for who you are, not like what you want me to be. But I feel like towards the end of high school, like she wasn't playing games anymore.
And she's experimenting.
Yeah, she was experimenting with a lot of things.
Well, a lot of stuff. She was not the really goody. She was
goody to your face.
Yeah. And they didn't even really go by her first name in this book. It was like Nikki at first.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't know why.
Nicole was her middle name, but they
yeah.
called her Nikki, and then that was what everyone referred to
pretty
her.
much called her Nikki. In the
Yeah.
book.
So, then it also talks a lot about her big sister, which I think is a big part of the book, don't you think? Because her big sister's like her
She's like her
bodyguard, her protector, the person that she calls on when she knows her parents won't understand. Her big sister is the one that took her to her first college frat party, where she felt like she was like, she got to experience like black excellence. I think she called it.
She's like she didn't know about all the fraternities and everything that we as a people was capable of until she went and saw it on campus for the first time.
And I think she was in high school, and then she got a number from a boy during one of those parties, and she was like, she never called it. She knows she was underage, but she's like, I kept it forever. Like,
she was so happy.
Because it's so hard when you're pretending, and then all of a sudden you get to go somewhere and you don't have to pretend. It's eye-awakening sometimes, I think. Don't you think?
Yes.
What did you think, Woody?
Yeah.
I mean, so that really is chapter 1. Like, that's just like bringing you into her life. And like in the book, like, I don't know, I think we should call her Nikki.
Nikki, yeah.
I think we're going to call her Nikki, but you'll know who we're talking about. So we have like a big ambition. We probably are not going to meet this. We wanted to take you guys to page 136, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be a 3-week thing. So the next thing that we want to talk about is chapter 2, and I think this is so important. This is the sex miseducation.
That's so funny.
Did you know everything about sex?
Well, that was a good chapter. I was more on the lines of Nikki's thing because, it's really weird and going to your parents about that. I mean, most of the stuff she talked about, she actually they skip past it in health class. You know, it was just like you could wake up pregnant when you got your period or whatever. But they never explained.
You could be pregnant at any moment.
Any moment.
Once you get your period.
Yeah. So she going to sleep every night, waking up like you're pregnant. You know.
And what she compared it to? She's like, well, all I know is like Catholic, and all I know is that Mary got pregnant, so she didn't have sex. So technically, even though I know something has to happen, could I be like the Virgin Mary? Could I just wake up pregnant one day? So that was like
the big thing.
Yes.
Her friends was like, did you get it? And it's like the most embarrassing, because I know everybody has had that moment when they first had their period come and they're all frantic and stuff. And I'm like, how many parents actually sat down and talked to their children and explained to them what was going on with their body? You know, it's like she just like they gave her a pad and was like, you know, you can get pregnant at any time, here go a pad, but didn't explain to her anything that to do with being on your period and becoming a young woman or anything of that nature. So they had to talk amongst friends, which young people do. You know,
which
they
is
go
so
to their
dangerous.
friend.
Yeah. So I will say I was fortunate. My mom told me about sex.
Well, that's
you know what I mean?
good.
My mom put me on birth control. She already knew. Like she didn't know I was crazy as fuck. But I think she had a clue. She was like, this one could get pregnant. Let's put her on birth control. No, but I mean I'm not even trying to talk about myself like this. My husband would probably get pissed. But I think my mom just knew, like, things will happen if you don't be honest with a child about what consequences are and about just being prepared for whenever things happen. Like, it's not a good thing to get birth control, like, 2 months after you are having sex with your boyfriend. You probably should get it before, so that if something like that ever happens, you wouldn't be having to go crazy. Because in this story it also talks about how all these girls, they live in a good ass community and parents got some jobs. And the thing here is too, these kids were so wild because they were in middle class families, lower and higher, which meant both parents working all the time.
Working all the time.
Which really just meant they're like this far away from being in poverty. But that created all this freedom for them. And I feel like I was in that situation. My mom worked 2 jobs. I had a lot of freedom. I was able to do a whole lot of things.
Yes.
Not because my mom didn't tell me right from wrong, but because I had ability to make a lot more choices because my mom worked all the time. And that was what was going on here. So they were like in a highly functioning family where everybody had jobs and was productive. But the side effect of that a lot of times is kids have a lot of freedom. If you don't have conversations with your kids, you don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's important to communicate. And it just really shocked me when the tampon incident.
Yes. And she said, couldn't have been nobody but Big D.
I mean, she literally thought it was going to break her hymen. She like didn't know, but another girl helped her.
34.
Yes, stood in there and helped her with that. And this part I highlighted. She said she started masturbating early at age 5 or 6. She just didn't know where her clitoris was. That floored me.
She was like, I knew how to make myself happy. I didn't understand my reproductive organs, and that not all areas are for what you think they're for. That's just one area down there. Like you might, need to explore yourself a little bit.
So she wasn't putting the tampon in correctly.
I'm not a whore, she shrieked. I just assumed tampons made you break your hymen. So if you used them instead of pads, you were no longer a virgin. And at that stage, if you weren't a virgin in Pleasanton, you were considered a whore. What? He said.
Big B got it down. What?
I've never used one. I whispered, open the door, she said. And I did, but just a crack. She passed me a plastic wrapped cylinder and I took it from here gratefully. Now lay on the floor. I hear her voice
She gave us specific instructions.
Put your knees up and just slowly put it in.
Exactly.
I did as commanded, laid out my plush AVAC towel and trying to put the tampon in what I thought was my vagina. It's too big, I said. What? It's too big. Let me in. I unlocked the door. She came in like the straight man in a screwball comedy. Where are you trying to put it in? I was trying to put the tampon in my urethra.
Yes.
Oh, that's not your vagina. That's it for a beat. What? I said casually, as I possibly could. Now I see, that's not your vagina, being a great title for this little one-act play. And I didn't see the humor.
Yeah. So we're definitely not going. We're gonna have to do this book in 3 sections because we're already at 20 minutes. So we'll just pay attention here. We want to be done in the next 5 minutes.
I highlighted.
Read what you highlighted.
From a young age, most girls are not given the most basic information about their bodies. And we grow into smart women who often don't go to doctors on a regular basis because we are too busy putting others in our lives first and don't share personal medical information with each other either. People talk about our bodies solely as reproductive systems, and we remain just as clueless as the Virgin Mary's learning she was but a vessel for something greater.
Yes.
And I think that is really important because people don't talk about their bodies and stuff. I really am uncomfortable talking about it with my own daughter. She's 18. I'm like, if she says titty, I'm like, I'm like, stop it. And it's like, I'm more ashamed, but I would want her to feel comfortable enough to talk to me because I don't want her to get the wrong information. So we do have our serious conversations, but you definitely would want to talk about anything that's going on in your body, unnatural or anything weird, or it's just anything that you simply got questions about.
And I would just say, and then in this chapter it talks about the young girl getting pregnant because she didn't want to get a condom and they used
a Ziploc bag.
It just bothers me just that they would even think that would work. Like, what the hell? Ziploc bag? If you commit a crime, you go to jail.
And they all come together, support each other. They collected money till they had the 350 together to take care of her. So.
And then they took that girl to go get an abortion. But you got to remember, like, these girls were like, what, 8th grade, freshmen?
Young.
They were just starting to party. They were just starting to go to house parties. Part of what they did there is they'd have sex like in the bathroom with some dude, like for validation or whatever else.
So much them being interested, it's just for them to feel wanted, just to be wanted, even for a hot second, just long enough to get used for their body. It was just them needing to feel wanted by somebody, and that's what people need to come to terms with today. You don't have to sell yourself to be wanted by somebody. You don't have to give your body over just to feel some want or need.
And she took all the condoms they had there at the place.
Yeah.
And it out to everyone.
You need some condoms.
So we're going to stop at chapter 2. Obviously, we're not going to get into chapter 3, but I want to talk about chapter 2. Like, I'm glad that we're stopping here because these topics are so important. Like, Nikki, she saw the basket of free condoms, took all of them. Nobody wanted to take them. She was trying to disperse them between all the girls. They didn't want to take them, and then she was responsible. She was responsible for everybody's birth control that was in her clique.
If you ever at a party,
because they were afraid parents would see it.
Find it.
And then one time Nikki's dad found it. Remember that? Now this is not in this chapter. I don't think it's in this chapter, but I do want to talk about it because she was just like, "They're for my friends," and then her dad probably was like, "What the friends? Like guy friends? Like
what's going on, Nikki?"
But this is the thing about her. She was so protective about her friends. She was willing to take risks with her family. Where a lot of people won't do that for you. Like, they won't take risks with their family to protect a friendship. So I feel like, and she even says in the book, like, some of the stuff was confusing and crazy when she lived there, but some of those friendships were real.
And
she's still in touch with some of those people. And when you listen to the stories, you really see, like, how that is, because even though some of it was messed up and it was just fitting in, at the end, friendships were formed from that somehow.
Yes, it was. And you're going to naturally bond over stuff like that. I mean.
And we might even have to do this in 4 weeks. Jesus, I hope we don't. But it's just like a lot of this material is so meaty. Like, it's so, you really want to talk about it. You want to encourage, I want to say this book is for anybody 8th grade and up.
It really is.
And I just encourage like mother-daughters to read this together, because if you don't know how to have the dialogue, this book will help you have the dialogue about things that are kind of important that parents forget to do because they're just busy working and providing. Does that make sense? And that doesn't mean you're bad. I get it. Do you know what I'm saying?
There is a book that talks about the period and stuff. She mentioned it in
Yeah.
here. Are You There, God Is Me, Margaret? And I actually
You read that?
that book back when I was in middle school, so I could definitely relate to that. So that is definitely a book worth
Another book
reading
you could read with
if
a
you're
kid.
younger. Yeah, with your daughter.
We just want
stuff,
to,
just
this
to
is a book
touch on
club
the
that when we
subject.
talk about something that we feel like you could use in your life, we want to pause and stop and talk about it. Like, let's talk about sex with our kids. Like, let's not make it like a foreigner.
Yes.
Let's talk about sex with our little cousins and our nieces and your nephew. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, that boy might need a condom. Like, if he's having sex and you're avoiding the topic, you're not helping him.
At all. He'll get the wrong information from the wrong person.
And I just feel like there's a time and a place for everything, but chapter 1 and 2 is really important. Like, it's good for you to accept who you are, and it's good for you to know your body.
Yes, it is.
So my mom's got to go because she's got stuff to do. We're going to peace out and see you guys in 2 weeks, and we just encourage you to get Gabrielle Union.
Yes.
It's Gabrielle Union.
She was all pissed that one guy said Gabriel because
It's
that's a man's
Gabrielle.
name.
It's Gabrielle Union.
All right, we in America, so you can say that. But we want to, we want to respect my mom, so we're going to call her Nikki.
Yes. And we'll see you guys with the next inserts of it. It's a good book.